Hey everyone, welcome back. You know how much we love diving deep into practical tips for boosting your English, right?
Absolutely, and this one's a gold mine.
You guys sent us this episode with an ESL instructor and a linguistics professor, and wow, they had so much to share.
It was fascinating. They both agreed on this really simple point that fluency, like it's not some kind of magic.
That's about habits, right?
Exactly, consistent, practical habits. And they both started with this tip that honestly, so many people overlook.
Okay, hit us with habit number one.
Speak out loud every single day.
I can already hear people thinking, wait, am I supposed to, narrate my life to the walls?
That's actually not a bad idea. Seriously, one of the experts even called it narrating your day. It's like you're giving a play-by-play, but in English. It's shifting from just reading or listening to actually producing the language.
So instead of just silently making your coffee,
Right. You'd be saying, okay, gotta grab the coffee, gotta pour it in.
time for the toast.
Yes.
Yeah.
It might feel weird at first, but the more you do it, the more you start actually thinking in English, which is huge. Oh, and the ESL instructor had this fun tip. She calls it the mirror technique.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Mirror technique.
Is this like talking to yourself in the mirror?
It is. And I know it sounds silly, but it really helps build confidence because you're kind of doing like a mini presentation to yourself.
Plus, you can actually see yourself, right? Like
Right.
catch any weird facial expressions or anything.
That's the idea. And it makes you
Mhm.
so much more aware of your pronunciation too.
So it's all about getting comfortable with the sound of your own voice speaking English. Exactly. The more comfortable you get doing it alone, the easier it'll be to do it with other people.
Which brings us to habit number two. This one's almost like you're becoming a spy. It's called shadowing.
Ah, yes, shadowing. This technique is pure gold. It's all about finding native English speakers, on podcasts, TV shows,
Audiobooks even.
anything you enjoy listening to. And you try to mimic them as closely as you can.
Like you're their vocal doppelganger, mimicking their pronunciation, their rhythm, their intonation.
And it's not just about individual words, it's about how everything flows together naturally.
The instructor compared it to learning a song. Like you don't just learn the notes one by one, right?
Exactly. You learn how they all connect to create the melody.
And the more you practice shadowing, the more natural your English will sound. You pick up on those subtle nuances that you might not even notice otherwise.
And it's not about sounding exactly like someone else. It's about incorporating those elements into your own voice. It's like adding a little spice to your own style.
Okay, get ready for habit number three, because this one is all about thinking bigger, ditching single words and going for phrases.
So true. A lot of traditional vocab learning focuses on single words, but then...
It's like you're lost when you actually try to use them in a sentence.
Yes. It's
Okay.
like having all the ingredients for a cake, but no recipe.
You've got the flour, the sugar, the eggs, but you don't know how to put them together.
And you definitely won't end up with a delicious cake. Instead of just, thanks. Imagine learning phrases like, thanks so much, or thanks for helping me out.
Right. You're not just learning words, you're learning how to actually sound natural when you speak.
Exactly. And you're picking up on those collocations, those words that just naturally go together.
Like take a break, make a decision, have a good time. Those are perfect examples.
It's like you're absorbing these linguistic shortcuts that native speakers use without even thinking about it.
And speaking of shortcuts, let's move on to habit number four. This one might feel a little awkward at first, but it is so incredibly valuable.
Recording yourself, right?
You got it.
Yeah.
It's like having a personal language coach in your pocket.
Both experts were big fans of this because you can hear yourself objectively.
Yeah, you might not even realize you're stumbling over a certain word or
Sure.
your sentences sound kind of choppy.
It brings it all to light. You become so much more aware of your own speaking patterns.
And the instructor had this really cool tip. She recommended comparing those recordings to the native speakers you're shadowing.
Oh, that's smart. So you can hear the differences side by side.
Exactly. It's like having a roadmap to better pronunciation
Yep.
and rhythm and intonation. And over time, you'll be amazed by how much you improve.
It's true. Like anything else, the more you practice, the more natural it becomes.
But, as helpful as it is to practice on your own, at some point you got to actually, talk to humans. Which brings us to habit number five, level up with language partners.
Yes. Yeah. This is where the real magic happens, right?
It is, because you can have all the vocabulary, all the grammar rules.
But actually using them in real time when you have to think on your feet,
That's the real test. It's like the difference between studying a map and actually exploring a new city. You can memorize streets and landmarks.
but until you're actually out there navigating.
Right. encountering unexpected detours, making those split-second decisions.
Exactly. And language partners, they provide that real-world experience. Plus, you get that immediate feedback.
And finding them is easier than ever.
Oh, absolutely. Both of the experts mentioned online platforms like HelloTalk, Tandem, italki.
Yeah, those are great resources.
Whether you want more casual conversations or something structured, even language lessons.
There's something for everyone, and that's where you really make that shift from, like, passive learning to active speaking.
You're not just absorbing information anymore, you're putting it into practice, connecting with other people.
Which is what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
And, something both experts emphasized was that building fluency, it's a journey.
It really is. It's not a race.
It's about celebrating those small victories along the way. And those small victories, they add up to big progress over time.
Exactly. It's about consistency and celebrating the journey.
Speaking of celebrating, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive. But before we do, we want to leave you with a little something to think about.
A little food for thought as you continue on your English-speaking journey.
So here's the question.
Yep.
What one small step from today's episode will you commit to incorporating into your daily routine starting today?
Will it be narrating your breakfast? Giving the mirror technique a try? Maybe even seeking out a language partner?
And honestly, even just 5 minutes a day, that's huge.
It makes a world of difference. The more we were digging into all this, the more I kept thinking that this is so encouraging for people.
Because it really demystifies fluency. Right.
It does. It shows you that it's not about, like, were you born with the language gene or something?
Right. It's not some magical skill.
It's literally about building the habits, showing up consistently, and putting in the work.
It's like they say, practice doesn't make perfect.
It makes progress.
Exactly. And those little bits of progress, they give you the confidence to keep going.
They really do. So if there's one thing to take away from all of this is find that one habit that speaks to you.
The one that you're like, okay, I can actually do this.
Yes. Start there and make it your own.
Maybe you'll become a breakfast narrator extraordinaire or a shadowing master. Whatever clicks for you.
That's the beauty of it. You get to choose your own adventure.
And we are so here for it. Keep us posted on your progress. And until next time, happy practicing.
Happy practicing.